everybody. Today I would like to talk about the console wars.
Console wars. For some reason, this is one.
Wait a minute.
One of the most heated.
This is one of the most heated
Console wars. For some reason, this is one of the most heated debates on the entire internet. The two biggest being PlayStation and Xbox. Always fighting tooth and nail for their little console. They seem to hate each other for absolutely no reason. And I'm just going to say it. I think it's really childish. I think it's unbelievably stupid how people online are making fun of others for their simple preference. And with the way that some of these people are acting, you think that they're no older than the age of 12. And this is where I tell you that you're completely wrong. These are grown men arguing over the technical specs of
that
are pretty much exactly the same. The PlayStation and the Xbox do the exact same thing. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter whether it be the technical abilities for the console
the design
choices,
which both of them are pretty innovative,
I guess. It doesn't matter because
Xbox
fans are always going to defend Xbox, and PlayStation fans are always going to defend PlayStation. And Nintendo is always for some reason going to be 5 years behind. Now I myself always for some reason going to be 5 years behind. Now I myself never grew up playing a lot of video games.
In fact, I didn't even grow up with a console in general.
It's not that I didn't want to, it's just that my parents never wanted to put in the money to buy one because they were really expensive and they still are. The only console I ever really own is a DS, and I ended up buying this with my own money.
It took me nearly 2 years to save.
I played all the classics like Mario Kart, Super Mario Bros, Lego Star Wars, Saga was one of my favorites. I loved my DS, but when it eventually kicked the bucket, I was heartbroken, and I was left with no console. So I guess that is technically a console, but not one that connects to the TV.
But not one that connects to
so
TV.
If I ever wanted to play Call of Duty, Zombies, for example, I have to go over to my friend's house to play
I
had always asked for a PlayStation for Christmas, but I would never end up getting it, and it just seemed like my parents were never going to crack. I sadly was never going to get a PlayStation until I was an adult, or until I had my own money and paid for it myself. But in the holiday season of
2018, everything changed.
So during Black Friday,
I decided to search up a PS4, and to my dismay, they weren't on the sale. Oh.
But the same price as always.
The same price as always.
The reason I searched for PS4 that just seemed to be the one that everybody had, and it was the most popular. So I thought, why not? I see that
But then I seen an Xbox that was on sale. The Xbox One S, an Xbox One with Minecraft
and two controllers. But that's when I started to remember most of my friends are on Xbox anyway. Plus 99% of the people who owned PS4s I wasn't even friends with. So Xbox just seemed like a better decision. So I begged my parents to buy me an Xbox, and I woke up one Christmas morning and I got an Xbox for Christmas. Specifically, the Better Together Minecraft edition. Some would say that
Some say I was balling and mine coins,
and I bought a skin with it. I wish I had the great honor to brag about how cool the skin was, but it wasn't. It was one of those Gamer Boy Minecraft skins. In fact, this is the exact skin that I had. And when I think back to my name, it makes me cringe. It was Swag Boy 666. I mean, I was pretty dripped out though. Anyways, you have no idea how excited I was. This was my first ever gaming console to myself, and I was around 13 at the time. So I texted all my friends, and we spent all Christmas Day playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3. And it even carried into the next day. I remember waking up the next morning and wondering, do I really have an Xbox? And I went downstairs, and I did. It was right there. And for the next 6 or so years, I was playing Xbox. All my friends were on it. I even convinced my friend James. And for him, that was such a big upgrade from the Wii.
And for it, it's such a big upgrade
now,
from the
what
Wii.
were my thoughts on the Xbox One? Honestly, for a first console, I thought it was fantastic. It was really fast. The graphics were pretty good. And something that I'm so thankful for is that it was quiet. Every single time I would go to a friend's house and they would have a PS4, it sounded like a jet engine was taking off. It's so loud for no reason. Even just running simple tasks like YouTube. I don't mean to keep meat riding the graphics, but for someone who came from a Nintendo DS, they were phenomenal. The shading, the lighting, it's just the textures, everything. I would walk around in Halo, and it was unbelievable to look at. It was something that I've never seen before. And keep in mind, this was back in 2018. I am 100% aware that PlayStation was able to do just the exact same thing. I'm just talking from my perspective as someone who was with Xbox. I was a big fan of the controller. Redesign from the controller redesign from the 360. I loved that it came with 1 terabyte 1 terabyte opposed to the 500 gigs that were on the PS4. Only like 200 of them being usable. I loved the interface a lot more. And yeah, it was a lot of fun playing it. Now, something I wasn't a big fan of, which is inevitable, and it isn't Xbox's fault, is stick drift. Stick drift was always really annoying. I would be in the middle of playing a game, and suddenly the controller would just start moving on its own. And since I pretty much only played shooters at the time, it was really hard to manage, and it always got to a certain point where the controller was unusable. But again, that isn't an issue to manage, and since I pretty much only played shooters at the time, it was really hard to manage, and it always got to a certain point where the controller was unusable. But again, that isn't an issue only stuck on Xbox. It was all consoles. At this point, when the new generation was announced, I was pretty much dead set on getting the Xbox Series X, especially after how ugly the PlayStation 5
Especially how ugly the PS5
looked. I mean, come on, it looks like an alien spaceship. And then the Xbox Series X design was released and okay, spaceship. And then the Xbox Series X. Hold on. It looked, I mean, come on, it looks like an alien spaceship. And then
Project Oris, whatever that is.
The Xbox Series X design was released and
yeah, that's basically.
Okay. I mean, it's certainly a box.
Yeah, it's certainly a box.
Yeah, bro. I was not a fan of the Xbox Series X design whatsoever. I mean, I guess they were getting experimental with the looks, but, you know, experimental isn't always the way to go, man. And this was during the virus that shut down the whole world. So I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have a job. I technically had school, but I didn't go. I really wanted one of the new gen consoles, but my parents weren't going to get it for me. And because it was practically impossible to get one because of resellers and short supply.
Oh.
So I just spent all of lockdown playing zombies with my friends on Xbox, but eventually it got kind of stale, and I started to get curious about, you know, PlayStation exclusives. Eventually lockdown ended, I got a job, so I decided to go on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a PS4.
Okay, that's good.
Said why not? So I bring my PS4 home, and I set it up, and I wasn't a big fan of it, actually. I felt it was just way too similar to Xbox, but with some major flaws. I really didn't like how noisy it was. It was so noisy. I can't even begin to state just how impactful it was. Even if I was trying to go to bed and watch YouTube, that's not even possible. Because as you're going to bed, all you hear is... As well as the controller. I really was not a fan of the PS4 controller. I felt it was too wide and too small. It just didn't fit my hands good enough. I could have also just been used to Xbox, which I probably am. I didn't feel like dishing out the $60 to buy any exclusive. So there my PS4 sat, honestly just collecting dust. Eventually, after all of this, I bought something that I had wanted to for a really long time. I bought myself a Nintendo Switch, and I bought myself the OLED model, the newest and nicest one. Now the Nintendo Switch, what did I think of it? I love it. I love my Switch to death. It's portable, it works with the TV, and you can play like all Nintendo games, and even some third-party ones, but I recommend sticking to Nintendo. I just overall have a really good time with it. All of the games are really expensive though, so that is definitely